realize that the model may not be exactly right.
What is the picture not telling you? Because you say you can not do a complete forecast with this picture.
Well, obviously, some of the sensor stuff that we get in there, it can't tell me how fast the wind speeds are. Although models are starting, or satellites are starting to get better and better with that, starting to show some of the wind speeds. It can't show me some of the areas of how cold and warm the temperatures are. Maybe not a big thing for aircraft unless it's real cold, but those are just some of the limitations it has.
So, what made you interested in doing meteorology?
Meteorology, I think it was 7th grade. The Air Force hurricane hunters, and we got to see a film on them. And at that point right there, I knew I wanted to be a weatherman. I told my mom I wanted to be on TV as a weatherman. And so I went into the military, started there, retired out of the military, and ended up on TV for a short while. And then this opportunity came up to come down to Antarctica, and I couldn't pass that up.
What was it about the weather hunters and flying above those hurricanes that was so attractive to you?
It was something about those guys taking a look inside the hurricane, not just, you know, flying around it, looking at it on a satellite picture. They were inside the hurricane. That really excited me. When I was teaching in the military at Keesler Air Force Base, that's where the hurricane hunters are. So we got to see them up close and personal at that point.
And so it's really, you know, for you, it sounds like it's really about being there. You know, here you are in Antarctica and really being in the weather and understanding what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. And the more of that information and that weather I get to see on a daily basis, the better forecaster I'm going to be. And I think all of us believe that. The more we see, the better we're going to be at what we do. And then our ultimate goal, of course, is to keep the pilots safe. We don't want to send them into any place that's poor or bad. And as a forecaster, that's been one of my focuses for probably a good 20 years.
Yeah, really a matter of life and death with the weather. Have you seen things, kind of the patterns changing over the past couple of years down here because of what they're saying about global warming and stuff, or just seeing unusual changes, or not so much?
Since I've been in the program, and I've been in this is my 5th season, my 3rd time on the ice, and I've been in the program roughly about 7 years because I had a little gap there. We've seen some changes, small changes. We had a few things that were actually done by, say, an iceberg, believe it or not, that changes the flow around the area, and that happened for a few years.
Is that B-17?
That was B-17, and B-17 stuck in the same place for about 3 or 4 years before it moved out. It affected the animals. It affected a little bit of the flow around the island in the local area here, and those kind of things do happen all over the continent. So far at this point, most of the general flows have been about what we normally see. We haven't seen a lot of big changes of anything. It's not getting real warm, it's not getting real cold. We're seeing the normal patterns pretty much, other than some small things like that change because of something that wasn't really weather related.
Right, well not so small. That B-17, how big was that?
It was 100 and I believe 12 miles long.
Wow.
Yeah, 112 miles long, got stuck on the north side of the island and was there for 3 to 4 years.
So I was talking to a geologist who of course was telling me that geology is the basis of all other sciences, and he was saying that the things that happen on, the surface of the Earth are what drive what's happening. I mean, I think it's interesting what you were saying about B-17 driving all these strange weather situations. What do you think about that? Do you think that what happens on the surface is really what drives what's happening in the atmosphere? In the atmosphere,
probably, because most of the weather, if you think about this, is generated by some kind of temperature difference somewhere or another. The more heat gets into an area, it creates updrafts and uplift, and usually the colder, it's kind of a downdraft. And these ups and downs and these temperature contrasts are what guide the weather. So if we do get warmer in some places, it's going to create a different type of weather there. Again, we see lots of ups and downs. There's a general pattern. Somewhere in the middle is the average. So if we get a little bit higher on one side, we may get a little lower somewhere else. If you actually watch and take a look at a lot of the weather around the world, usually if it's real hot in one place, someplace else it's a little bit colder than it should be for that time frame. It just kind of balances itself out. And the whole planet is like that. It's like a big heat engine that balances itself out with its temperature. And it's going to raise for a while and come down for a while. And that's probably the kind of the thing we're going to see over the next 100, 200 years, all the way through the end of the time for the Earth.
Sounds good.